From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, September the 6th, 2017. 45 years after the murders of 11 Israeli athletes at the Olympic Games in Munich, Germany, a memorial was unveiled today in the city to honor and pay tribute. On September the 5th of 1972, members of Palestinian terror group Black September snuck into the Olympic Village and attacked two apartments being used by the Israeli team. Wrestling coach Moshe Weinberg and weightlifter Yosef Romano, who both fought the terrorists, were murdered during the attack. Yosef Goodfreund, David Berger, Mark Slavin, Yaakov Springer, Ze'ev Friedman, Amitzur Shapira, Eliezer Chalfin, Kahat Shor, and Andre Spitzer were taken hostage and murdered the following day, September the 6th. At the memorial today, German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier said of the massacre, "Until today, we carry a heavy burden regarding this catastrophe," saying that the recognition was long overdue. Israel's President Reuven Rivlin flew to Germany last night to attend the memorial today, where he condemned terror and also criticized the Olympic Committee for its failure to recognize the men. He said our brothers who were murdered were not just the State of Israel's sons, they were the Olympic family's sons, a family which for many years abandoned its commitment to them. Family members of the Munich 11 fought for decades for a permanent memorial. Widow of Andre Spitzer, Anki Spitzer, told the Deutschlandfunk radio station, "It took 45 years, but I don't regret the long and lonely journey that brought us to this day." Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met today with Director of the International Red Cross Committee, Peter Maurer, who is visiting the region. As we reported to you yesterday, Maurer met with the head of terror group Hamas and asked to see the Israeli civilians being held by the terror group in Gaza. Netanyahu thanked Maurer for his efforts and condemned Hamas's actions. Maurer indicated that the challenge dealing with Hamas was an ongoing one.
We have the bodies of our slain soldiers that are kept, even the information about them is kept, and no less important, we have innocent, defenseless Israeli civilians held in Gaza, which you sought to visit, we want to get information about, and no, kept in a very closed and cruel way. So I appreciate all your help and all your assistance in this humanitarian effort in the face of this Hamas cruelty.
Thanks a lot for having me. I mean, it's clear that we have been here for a long time in the region, and this is one of our longest running operations. So we have a mandate on international law, but also on helping people and finding practical ways. And I'm really looking forward once again to have an opportunity to look into some of the challenges we are all confronted with today, and to see how the ICRC can eventually help with one or the other.
And staying with the Prime Minister, Netanyahu later today attended a celebration for the upcoming Jewish New Year Rosh Hashanah at the Foreign Ministry in Jerusalem, where he told diplomats that a breakthrough had been reached regarding relations with Arab countries. Though he did not share any specifics, Netanyahu said that while the changes were not yet visible above the surface, he said they are happening in significant ways. Netanyahu held the Rosh Hashanah event early, as he will be traveling abroad next week and returning to Israel right before the high holidays. Israel Border Police officers arrested a Palestinian teenager at a checkpoint in the West Bank today. A police spokesperson said the incident took place at a checkpoint near the Tomb of the Patriarchs in the city of Hebron, where the officers found a knife in the possession of a Palestinian minor who was then taken in for questioning. 10 concrete blocks were placed in between cobblestones on the streets of the Czech town of Teplice this week to honor the memory of Jews murdered there during the Holocaust. The Prague Daily Monitor reported that the plaques were laid outside the homes in which Jews had lived before they were deported, and are meant to literally serve as a stumbling block, stopping pedestrians in their tracks to learn something and remember. Israeli Ambassador Daniel Meron attended the ceremony on Monday and said the stones should remind residents of the need to combat anti-Semitism and racism. And 30 Polish rescuers of Jews during the Holocaust were honored Sunday at the Poland Museum of the History of Polish Jewry in Warsaw by the Jewish Foundation for the Righteous. The foundation's executive president, Stanley Stahl, called the rescuers heroic people of exceptional character who risked their lives and often the lives of their families. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, September the 6th. At 7 o'clock, we continue with our special programming marking the anniversary of the Munich massacre with words from widow Ankie Spitzer. Then at 7:15, Director of Pardes Center for Judaism and Conflict Resolution Daniel Roth talks about remembering Amalek and resolving conflict. At 8, a look at Jews and Muslims with Yossi Klein Halevi and Imam Abdullah Antepli from the Shalom Hartman Institute in Jerusalem. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Congressman Steve Israel on L'chaim. And at 10, remarks from Senator Chuck Schumer from the AJC Global Forum. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, it's Thinking Out Loud with Micah Halpern. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, September the 6th, 2017. I'm Teisha Bader.